Nobody is talking about these two Commanders rookies that I think are going to not only be impacts here in 2024, their first year in the league, but long-term impacts for this franchise, and nobody's talking about them today. We're going to do just that, but before we do, let me know down there in the comments section, who's a Commanders player that is flying underneath the radar right now? Nobody's talking about him, but he's going to be an awesome player for this team. It doesn't have to be a rookie. It could be any player. Let me know down there in the comments section who's flying underneath the radar. So the first rookie that we're going to be talking about today that nobody's talking about, it seems like, is Ben Sinnott, tight end out of Kansas State. He was selected with the 53rd overall pick in the 2022 or 2024, I don't know why I said 2022, NFL draft in the second round. Now, some people thought this was a little bit of a reach for Ben Sinnott. I believe PFF had him ranked just outside the top 100 on their big board, but he's somebody that was really sought after because of his athletic ability. We'll get to that here in a second, but first let's take a look at his numbers. Back with the Wildcats last year, 49 catches, 676 yards, about a really good average there, 13.8 for a tight end with 6 tuds. But what really turned heads this draft season when it comes to Sinnott was his athleticism. Just look at this relative athletic score, 9.73. Elite speed grade, elite agility grade, and elite explosion grade. This guy's got incredible long speed for a tight end mixed with really rare quickness at the position. Now, he's a little bit on the shorter side for a tight end, and he's a little bit on the, lighter side for a tight end. But you take a look at the relative athletic scores and you compare it with the best tight end from last year's draft class, Sam Laporta, who had an excellent rookie season with the Detroit Lions. And Sinnott, they're both above a 9.0, but man, Sinnott is very much closer to that 10 range than Laporta was, and it's because he's a little bit heavier than Laporta. And listen, man, I think these guys are very similar players. I did have a round 4 grade on Sinnott because I just don't value tight ends that highly, and he doesn't have great arm length, and that affects his game in 2 ways. Number one, his catch radius isn't all that great, so he needs a really accurate passer to put it on the body. If they can do that, he's going to bring it in, but he can't really haul in these incredible catches outside of his frame because he doesn't have the arm length. And then another thing that affects is his power blocking. Not only is he a little bit undersized for a tight end, which affects his power, but that arm length doesn't allow him to really get his arms into people and push people back. So I think that he's a really good blocker in a zone blocking scheme. He's really fast. He's very quick. He's really good in a zone running scheme in terms of his blocking. And I'm really excited to see what he's going to look like in this very pass-heavy, very zone and counter-heavy Cliff Kingsbury air raid style of offense. I think he's a perfect fit for what this team wants to do. And I think his versatility, he can play fullback. He can even play a little bit of running back if you want him to. He can play in the slot. He lined up in the slot quite a bit last year for Kansas State. I think that he can be used in a lot of different ways. And let's face it, man, Zach Ertz, he might be a nice mentor, but he's pretty much a corpse at this point in his NFL career, all right? He cannot move the way that he used to move. And Ben Sinnott, I think in terms of talent, is more talented than John Bates, who's more of a blocking tight end. He's more talented than Cole Turner, who's a decent receiver, but I think Sinnott, with his quickness and his route running ability, can take that to a whole nother level. And I know Cliff Kingsbury and the Commanders are hoping that he is the future of the tight end position. And because he's so versatile, I think he's going to have a relatively prominent role in this offense. Now, let me know down there in the comments section, who's going to be the best tight end on the Washington Commanders roster this year? Will it be the older Zach Ertz type ZE, if you still think Ertz has some left in the tank, or if you think Sinnott comes up by the end of the season and has really established himself as the number 1 tight end in this rotation? Type BS down there in the comments section. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show, so YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time by letting me know who's going to be the number 1 tight end by season's end. Then the other rookie that we're going to talk about today that nobody, it seems, is talking about these days is 5th round pick for the Washington Commanders, inside linebacker out of Temple, Jordan Magee. Now, he was taken in the 5th round, taken pick number 139th overall. And listen, man, given his numbers, what he was able to put up at Temple last year, I think that's a little bit of a steal. You take a look at his numbers last year, 14 tackles for loss. Holy schnitzel. That is a high number right there, folks. Then we got 3.5 sacks as an inside linebacker, and then also pretty darn good in pass coverage as well with 4 pass breakups. And just like Ben Sinnott, you got the really good relative athletic score, 9.6. Now, the reason why it's not pretty much a perfect score is because of the size grade, right? He's definitely underweight. He's a little bit undersized in terms of the height, but man, the speed, the agility, and the explosiveness that he brings to the table is just about as good as any other linebacker in the 2024 NFL draft. My scouting report on him, the speed really comes off of the film, and that really translates to the pass coverage. He can move places extremely quickly. The football IQ is there. He's a former quarterback. So he understands the game extremely well, and that's what you need to be an inside linebacker in the NFL today. You need to understand a lot of different roles. You have to be able to read what an offense is doing, and as a former quarterback, McGee can do that better than just about any other linebacker coming out in this year's class, and the Commanders got him in round 5. Now, the size is a concern. Only 225 pounds. He doesn't have the longest arms in the world, and he can get bullied a little bit in the run game, so he might be more of a pass coverage, rotational, kind of nickel linebacker type of player. I had an early day 3 grade on him, but I'm super excited to see him play because he's super intelligent. He's ready to play in the NFL. I think he's going to provide a little bit of special teams value as well, and I think that he's going to get on the field a little bit as a pass coverage type inside linebacker, because we look at the linebackers right now for the Washington Commanders. Bobby Wagner stinks in pass coverage. He is one of the worst pass coverage linebackers in football. He's still really good as a blitzer. He's still really good as a run defender. As an early down linebacker, I like Bobby Wagner. All right, but he just doesn't have the legs anymore to be a coverage linebacker going back into coverage. Last year that was his big bugaboo, and that's why the Seattle Seahawks didn't bring him back. All right, Frankie Louvu is fine in that regard, but I think, especially towards the end of the season, okay, guys, we're going to be looking at Jordan Magee as kind of almost like a rotational nickel-type linebacker that can come in these situations and really provide some value for the Commanders, and I have a feeling he's going to be playing that role for this team for a very long time. Now, predict it for me down there in the comments section. Will Jordan Magee, 5th-round linebacker out of Temple, ever be a full-time starter for this team at inside linebacker? He is a little bit undersized, but he's highly intelligent, plays with great mentality, and he's really good in pass coverage. Give me a yes or no down there in the comments section to let me know what you guys think. Now, I want to thank you guys for making it to the end of today's show. This is the Real One roll call here, so type Real One in all caps in the comments section if you made it to the end of today's show. I really appreciate all my real ones. And if you made it to the end of the show and you are a real one, you might as well make sure that you're subscribed to Real One as well. Make sure you click that subscribe button right now to join the fastest growing Commanders channel here on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for all of your support.